No one knew why Ophelia suddenly collapsed or why the subsequent changes occurred. Ophelia herself, as well as doctors and even the famous magician, were called in to hear their opinions, but the reason was never discovered. That's why Roderick was worried, but Ophelia shook her head slightly. We thought it was the will of heaven. Thanks to that, we were able to have a beautiful son. Ophelia took Roderick's hand and brought it to her lower abdomen. She couldn't accept it like that from the beginning either. Because Ophelia lost something precious that she had treasured her entire life. She spent several days crying and choking on tears. Then he discovered that he had a son. It was the price he paid for losing everything. So he decided to accept that this was God's will. Understood, Ophelia, Roderick replied. If that was the will of the person he loved, he had no choice but to accept it, even if it was difficult. It wasn't yet time for the baby to move or for his belly to protrude, but for some reason Roderick felt a tingling sensation in the palm of his hand. The employees of Duke Weishauffen's residence in the capital were busy all day. They cleared the accumulated snow from the carriage road and swept and cleaned the interior again, now clean, because the visit of two distinguished guests was expected. One was the visit of Crown Prince Winfried of the Empire to the mansion for the first time in a long time, and the other was the visit of Candace Epica, an old friend of the Duchess and director of the Temora National Academy of Magic. Even in Temora, known as the Land of Wizards, it was extremely rare for the head of the most famous National Magic Academy to visit another country in person, so not only the Duke's family, but the entire Palace Empire was outraged by the matter. His Highness the Crown Prince's carriage will arrive soon, they exclaimed. That? Am I not ready yet? Although Candace's arrival was just a few days away, the Crown Prince's visit was imminent, so employees acted quickly. Although Winfried often came to the mansion to visit, this was her first visit since becoming Crown Prince, so everyone was nervous. And after a while, Winfried crossed the entrance of the mansion in a carriage loaded with gifts. Welcome, Your Highness, the Crown Prince. Duke. As Winfried alighted from the carriage, Roderick greeted his former disciple with kind eyes. Unfortunately, Winfried had no talent or interest in fencing and had already given up, but to Roderick, Winfried was still a young disciple. You didn't need to come out like that to greet me. His Highness has come to visit me in person, so I should come out and greet you. My wife hasn't gone out yet because she needs to be careful. Please be generous and forgive her. Sorry? What nonsense are you talking about? Of course it must be like that. They met again after a long time and greeted each other with great joy. It was a spectacle that moved even those who witnessed it. This is an herb that only grows on the top of Mount Primus, and it is said to be very good for pregnant women. It is an infusion from the kingdom of Inselkov, and is said to be very effective for morning sickness. And this is? Winfried excitedly explained each gift she had brought. There were so many of them that the explanation was long, but the Duke and Duchess kept expressing their gratitude with kind faces. And this? This could be called the climactic moment. Winfried spoke excitedly as she held up a box of ornate jewels, clearly indicating that it was a precious gift. Since both the giver and the recipient were so happy, there was no reason why Ophelia, who received the gift, should not be in a bad mood. I look forward to it, Your Highness. What do you think it will contain? Ophelia opened the box with an incomparably warm smile, as Winfried had been a great comfort to Ophelia when she was desperate after losing Isla. This is. It was a baby toy, a rattle. It was a small leather ball with bells inside to make a rattle sound. The handle of the rattle also had a luxurious tassel made of colorful thread. It was made by a famous family that has been around for generations. In the Palace Empire, there was a custom that if you gave a rattle to a child, he would be born healthy. A luxury rattle would cost as much as a carriage, but being a rattle given by the emperor, it was a precious gift whose value could not be calculated. Father said it was a beautiful item that he had personally ordered, so he insisted on giving it a special color. Haha. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Ophelia laughed heartily as she remembered the playful emperor. Winfred, who was laughing with her, kept looking at Roderick for some unknown reason. Why is that, Your Highness? Oh, no. Roderick noticed and asked why, but Winfred just suspiciously changed the subject, saying it was nothing. I suppose you have something to discuss alone with Ophelia. Since they had often made up secret stories since childhood, Roderick could easily understand why. If it were anyone else, he would have no intention of giving up his beloved wife, but with Winfred it was different. Ophelia, who had lost her daughter and her smile, regained it by playing with the cheerful Winfred. So Winfred was also a benefactor to Roderick. I have an urgent matter to attend to, then. At times like this, he had to be quick to get out of the way. As Roderick left the reception room, making excuses about work, Winfred let out a deep sigh. What is happening, Your Highness? The two men alone, Ophelia widened her kind eyes and asked. That's right, there is something I have to apologize to the Duchess for. Winfred struggled to open her mouth and spoke with an apologetic look on her face. Is there something you have to apologize to me for? Ophelia, who had no idea what it was, slowly blinked her purple eyes. His expression somehow resembled Isla's, and it warmed Winfred's heart warmly. Do you remember the magic box that the lady gave me for my 10th birthday? Of course. I remember it. I gave that gift to someone else. I'm sorry. He thought it was only natural that he should apologize for giving the gift he received from Ophelia to someone else without permission. But Ophelia just smiled happily. It is something I gave to His Highness, the Crown Prince. It is up to His Highness to use it however he wants. There is no need to apologize to me at all. When he first gave it away, he told them to transfer it if they wanted to give it to someone else. What is the problem? Even so. Although Ophelia said she was fine, Winfred's expression was still unpleasant, as if he was worried. Ophelia looked at him with loving eyes. I'm a little curious to know who you gave it to. You said you gave that object you liked so much to someone else. He even kept it a secret between the two of them, and strongly urged him not to tell anyone. It was a little surprising that he would give such an item to someone else, since he was so happy with the gift that he talked from ear to ear. I can't tell you. Winfred's face turned red, and Ophelia realized it when she saw her expression. Ah. He has someone he likes. He had been watching Winfred since she was a baby, and now she had grown so much. Ophelia's eyes began to burn for no reason, so she looked away from the window to avoid shedding tears. He hoped that the fresh landscape of white snow would refresh his eyes. He watched Winfred grow up, but he couldn't watch his daughter Isla grow up. He made it difficult for her again, just as she finally composed herself. While Ophelia pretended not to know anything and suppressed her emotions, Winfred was also lost in thought. He remembered the day he received Ophelia's box. Things he wanted to hide from his parents, nothing serious, just the excitement of being able to save things like diaries without anyone finding out. So he and Ophelia put their pinkies together and yelled, "Don't tell my parents, and definitely not anyone else." That moment was still vivid in his mind. Ophelia took his hand with a smile on her beautiful face and solemnly declared, I, Ophelia Heiling Weischaffen, hereby transfer ownership of this box to Winfred Ulysses Vito Palace. Oh, wait a minute. Heiling? Winfred looked at Ophelia with a shocked expression, as if someone had hit her on the back of the head. It was only then that he remembered where he had heard the name Heiling, which he had never been able to remember, no matter how hard he tried. That was the Duchess's maiden name. So no matter how hard you look in the list of imperial nobles, you won't find it. The Duchess said that she was not originally from the Pelis Empire. It was a little strange that Isla had said she was from the Pelis Empire, but Winfred felt elated as she got closer to discovering Isla's true identity. So, is Isla related to the Duchess? Thinking about it like that, it reminded him quite a bit of Ophelia. Things like her pretty, straight silver hair and her facial features, densely packed into a small face. So much so that he wondered why he didn't notice it from the beginning.